Well, well, well. Good morning, cyber friends. Good morning, good morning. And I do mean good morning. Matter of fact, old Mitty Man has is yet at it. Matter of fact, from Thursday up until early Friday morning, exactly 3 a.m. right now. But we want to say we give God all the praise and honor. We give Him all the glory, and we thank Him for as well as it is. And we thank Him for each and every one of you, cyber friends. You know who you are. I I want to say something very, very quick. First of all, if y'all could see my room back here, first of all, it put me in the mind of when I was it put me in the mind of when I was going to Berry College, and one of my jobs were to go down to the gymnasium. I did it during the night, at the evening time, evening period after the evening meal. I would go down in the basement of the gymnasium where we had the weight room, and we called that the pit. We called that the pit. And in the area where I'm sitting in right now, I got a keyboard here. This is my buddy keyboard, and my other keyboard over here. So actually, I'm sitting between two keyboards in this small back bedroom of mine that I made, and I call it Studio B. This is where I mostly do all the video from back here. Hardly if I do a bit video in the main studio out there at Walker's Music, but I just wanted to let y'all know I'm sitting in sort of a pit, like we used to call it when I was going to Berry College back in the 80s. And it brought back a lot of memories. It brought back a lot of memories. And I tell y'all people, when I say that, I really mean it from the heart. Uh, a lot of memories. A lot of them good, some of them not so good. But nevertheless, I still have a lot of memories that goes back into that. And when I was talking, I'll be talking to my pastor friends, and I got a lot of pastors that I consider friends. And matter of fact, I want to let it be known, you's a poor frog that don't praise your own pond. So I got to say it I say it with the humblest way I know how, that my pastor, Pastor Green, Pastor Donald D. Green Sr. at Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, he sits on the top as my pastor. And so, but I got a lot of pastors as friends, and I consider them as friends. And I was talking to a few of them today. I talked to a few today that I really consider friends. We became very close, and we talked about a lot of things, and it brought me into mind, memory. I was supposed to do this video tonight at 7. Actually, I was going to, yesterday I should say, at 7, and I'm just not doing it. And it's 3 in the morning, Friday morning now, but that's all right. That's all right. I mean, I'm up like this here a lot of nights, people, a lot of nights. But what I wanted to say, and it's what me and the pastor we talked about today. It just confirmed what I was already going through. And as you see, there's a keyboard there. There's my other keyboard there. This is my keyboard over here, and this is my buddy keyboard here. And I'm sitting in between them, and it's sort of just like that pit that I used to sit in when I was going to Berry College, and in the weight room, and everybody had to check out the equipment from me. They had to come to the pit, and they were coming in. I was sitting behind a little cage area, what I had always kept locked, and then I would stick the equipment through the cage area for everyone to get whatever they wanted, free weights and stuff. They had to get those from back there in the pit, because we didn't allow all that equipment to just be laying around. Basketballs and whatever the equipment they wanted to get, they would have to get it from the person that was in charge of the pit. But at any rate, people, I just wanted to say something, flashback memory that happened to me. This had to be around 72, maybe 73. I know I wasn't that old. Couldn't have been no more than 10, maybe 11. So I know it had to be in around about 72 or 73. But at any rate, I think I shared this only one other time since I've been on the net. Uh, it was on the 4th. It was on the 4th July. I never will forget that. And like I said, the year was either 72 or 73. But I believe it was 72. But at any rate, I was headed to the local swimming pool. It was during the summer, like I said, July 4th. And my uncle, my auntie, they lived outside of the outskirts of town of Cuthbert. And out on the road they call Bell Mill Road. Those of you that from Cuthbert, you automatically know what I'm talking about. That's where they live. And my mom, I don't believe my grandma was even in that car at that time, but I know my great grandma was. She was at home. But I had got them to drop me off at the swimming pool while they went on out to my aunt and uncles for the fourth celebration. I wanted to go to the swimming pool. I don't know whether they had made arrangement to come back and get me from the swimming pool or not. I don't know. All I knew is that I wanted to get to the swimming pool. So now, the swimming pool is on the south end of Andrew Street. That's the Andrew Street. That's the main street runs north and south in Cuthbert. Right? We call it Railroad Street, Andrew Street, you name it. That's what we call it. And the swimming pool was on the south side of Andrew Street, which was our high school, as well as the elementary school at one time. It was called Henderson High. And at one time, the elementary and the you know, like I said, before integration, that was the main school for the blacks, Henderson. Well, at any rate, the school set right out there you could stand from the swimming pool and look right at our high school. So when I jumped out the car, when they put me out, instead of me running to the back of the car where oncoming traffic that was coming south could see me, for some weird reason, I got out of the back seat and ran around the front of the car and went across the road that way. So therefore, the oncoming traffic, they couldn't even see me, even if they were trying to look. They couldn't have seen me because I was coming from the front side of the car. And I wasn't 6'2" at that particular time. I hadn't grown that much. I wasn't 6'2", I was short at that time. So ain't no way in the world they could have seen me. Whoever was driving that car, because to this day, I couldn't tell you who was driving that car. But that car was coming, people. Wide open down Andrew Street. Going too fast, really. And here I am, I'm running head first, across the road, going back this way. Got out the car from this side of the car and ran around to the front of the car. So now I'm running east, trying to get to the swimming pool. I'm running east, the car coming from the north going south, and it was like a cross. In other words, if the car would have hit me, I would have been dead instantly. At any rate, people, to this day, and this years later, this some 40 years or more now, 40 plus years. I couldn't tell you to this day how I got out the road. I don't know how I got out of that road. Only thing I know is I heard a scream. And I think that was my mama or either my auntie, because they saw it when I couldn't see it. But I did hear the scream. And when I heard it, I turned and looked, and that car was right up on me. I'm telling y'all something, people. That car was right on me. I looked at the car. I could tell you it was a black car. That's all I can tell you. That's all I know. And all of a sudden, whew, it was over with, just like that. And when I looked, I was back to where I was running from. I was back all the way to the back of where I come from. And instead of being in front of my uncle's car, where I should have been standing, I was down further, about maybe 50 yards down further on the side of the road that I come from. People, who but God and his angels got me out of that road? Now, I ask you the question. That's how come when I hear people talking about these experiences that they have had, I don't doubt it. Because, see, I know there was no way I could have gotten out of that road Satan tried to take me out at a very, very early age. Yes, he did. He tried to take me out at a very early age. And many other times I have seen Satan's hand trying to take me out by sicknesses and by different things. I never been a sick child. I never had to bother with too much sickness, but whenever I did, it was very serious. In other words, when I was in the military, getting ready for Desert Storm and everything, and I had to end up in 5th General Hospital in Stuttgart, Germany. And my blood pressure was so high, the doctors, and my doctor was a lieutenant colonel, and my nurse was a captain. They would kept me round the clock observation on me because my blood pressure was so high. They didn't understand how I was yet walking around, and I never had a headache. People, I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you something somebody told me. I'm telling you something I know. My blood pressure was just that high because they had done made arrangement to get me on a jet, to get me to Walter Reed. Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. They had made those arrangements because they said that they couldn't get my blood pressure down. That was exactly what they were going to have to do. And people, I was up in that 5th General Hospital in Stuttgart, Germany. Those of you that know about the military, you know, and if you ever been over to see the Frankfurt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The 5th General Hospital in Stuttgart, Germany. That's where I was. And my blood pressure was that high, and they was observing me because they could not understand how I was yet walking around trying to console other soldiers when my blood pressure was like that, and I didn't show no signs of no sickness. Never did show a sign of sickness. Never did. Well, I don't know how. I don't know. I mean, only thing I know, people, is that God is able. And as I talk to the pastors and different ones that believe, you know, let me tell y'all something. Just because you guys, I mean, I thank God that I've been ordained as a deacon here back in May. But let me tell you something, people. Just because you've been ordained as a deacon or a preacher and been ordained and everything, that doesn't necessarily mean that you know God. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. That doesn't necessarily mean that you know God. But at any rate, I just had to let y'all know this is what happened to me on the 4th of July. This was back in 72, 73. I believe it was 72 because in 71, I wasn't down here in 71. I was in Cleveland, Ohio, because that's when my great-grandmother, we took a vacation trip to Cleveland, Ohio. That's where her daughter lived. And in 71, I was up there. And I was at Cedar Point. That's an amusement park, big, large state park, right down in Sandusky, Ohio. Those of you that know what I'm talking about, you can attest that I'm not lying. And also, we went to Akron, Ohio, that same year to a SeaWorld. That's where we had that big old killer shark called Shamu. That's the first time I ever saw Shamu. And this was in 71. And that's how come I know it wasn't in 71. So it had to be 72, the year that I almost got hit by that car. But let me tell you something, people. God is able, and I know it. You can't tell me nothing else. You can't tell me that God is not able. Now let me say one more thing. As me and the pastor was talking, we hit on the same subject. Why is it that we dog the people that do so much for us? Amen. Amen. My keyboard done changed now from the sound that I wanted it to have. It'll go like that. If I don't hurry up and get back to it, it will automatically change. It'll automatically change. But in other words, hopefully I'll do it if I see it going back this time. But at any rate, we was talking about how we can dog, and it's not only the musicians. You got a lot of pastors. You got a lot of pastors that people do not want to do what is right when it comes to them. Well, I'm going to speak about me. Now, my buddies, Daryl and Floyd, I don't know about them because I'm not where they are at when they doing what they do. But I know what I do back in here in this room. If I'm not on these keyboards, working out song, that's my job. As as the church musician, minister music, whatever you want to call me, a piccolo player, piano player, whatever you want to call me. But that's my job. And I'm steadily at it, as I can see. You see him, what about 3:30, and I'm in here on the keyboards. Yeah. Working out the chords, sometimes even the melody line, to give to the leaders that wants to lead these certain songs. Not only that, I got to learn the full song. I got to teach it to the full choir. Sometimes you got to get the leader right for the timing and all that. Then I'm using my CD. Let me tell you something, people. And I don't mind doing it. That's not the point. I want you to get the point. You see here, this is a pack of CDR that I bought from Fred. It's got 50 in the pack. Just this 50 in the pack costs about $12 plus tax. I make everybody CD. I don't charge nobody for CD. Now I don't have to do that, but I do it because it makes sense. If they got something that they can listen to throughout the week, from week to week, in the interim or choir rehearsal, they will make it. It'll make it more concrete and cemented in them that they'll know the song once they get back. So I make these CDs, and like I said, as you can see, those CDs are bygone. I have not made one CD for myself. Amen. But yet still, I paid $12 plus tax for these CDs. Now I do it because I want to do it. And there's a reason because I want them to get the song. That is not what I'm speaking of. I don't have no problem doing that. Matter of fact, I welcome doing it. I do it from my heart. But I'm saying, those CDs cost me money. But now, when it comes to doing something, a gratuity, like I heard a preacher say, why is it so hard that when it comes time to do something for the musician, that we have such a hard time at doing it? Huh? I mean, a musician that's doing all of this over and above the call to do to people. Because I have talked to some musicians, they are not going to teach you nothing. They'll come and play, and you better know the song, because that's all they're going to do is play. Me and my buddy, we have talked about it, me and Floyd. Even there, we done talked about it. They are not going to teach you nothing. But yet and still, you're going to pay them. And some of them getting paid 2 and 3 times what I'm getting. And they don't even do half the work that I do. It ain't all about the money, but let me tell you something else. The Apostle Paul said you don't mother the ox to tread the corn. And if you look in the book of Nehemiah, 13th chapter, it tells you that all the musicians, the singers, the doorkeepers, and the priests, which is the preachers, we were supposed to be paid from the tithe, people. That's automatic. That's in the Bible. Where these people get it for dogging your own people, I don't know. But like this preacher said, we'll pay a plumber top dollar to come and fix our commode. But you got a musician that try to put the best music in your church service. Put the best that they can do. Every musician ain't on the same level, just like every singer is not on the same level. That's not the point. But if they're doing an service to that church, they ought to be recognized a whole lot better than they are. Now I just can't help it. If people don't like it, I don't care. They don't like me, no way. I ain't worried about that. But I know that I have a responsibility as a musician, and especially now that I've become a deacon, fully ordained deacon, my priorities have changed. I look after what the church needs now as a whole. And it's my job to assist my pastor in anything he desires, whatever his vision is, that's supposed to be my vision. And if you're a deacon, it's supposed to be your vision too. Not to kick against the pastor and nothing. But to assist him in whatever vision he has mandated from the Lord. Now I understand, people, every vision don't come from the Lord. I know that. But nevertheless, until God gives you the vision, you can only go by what your pastor bring you, because he's the pastor. He's the shepherd. The shepherd don't follow the sheep unless he walk in mess. If you want to walk in mess, you start following sheep. So in other words, this is how come I say, people, why is it so hard for us to just do what's right. Now, I mean, I'm gonna do some videos about these keyboards very, very soon. I am. I'm gonna make some. I'm gonna do some songs, show you what can be done with these keyboards and computer inside your church service. We're gonna be dealing with that coming real soon. But as y'all notice that I haven't been doing a lot of stuff lately, and I haven't really been doing no videos and nothing else. I'm not gonna make no excuses. I'm just gonna say I just haven't been doing nothing lately. I don't really know how to say it. I don't know if it's a lack of determination, a lack of motivation, or a combination of the two. But I notice I haven't been doing much lately, and I don't want to get into that mode. I don't want to get into that mode of that downtrodden mode or that pressed mode, where it make me stop doing music and doing and giving people encouragement. That's what I love to do. But I tell y'all people, and being honest with you, it's getting very, very hard. It's getting very, very difficult to continue to do some of the things that we do. Because most of the time, people don't want to accept you for what you know anyway. I got a lot of things that I could do that I don't even try because people not going to accept it. They're not going to accept it. There's a lot of things that I could do for the different choirs in the area. There's a lot of things I could do and could show them. But because of the fact that people got their set pattern on who they going to believe, unless you up here, unless you supposed to be up there. But the thing about it, the people really don't know exactly where I've been and what the Lord have let me accumulated over the years and the schools that I have been through and been to. Oh, brother, I could tell you some things, but to some, you are never going to quite come up to the par with them. So in other words, you just have to let them alone. And not to brag, but I don't think it's not too many people in the area that can say more or expound more on this here stuff than I can. I know what I know. And if I don't know it, I got some people that I can contact that do. And I can get the information just the same. So what I'm saying is, we don't compare ourselves to nobody. We don't try to put ourselves above anybody, but we definitely don't put ourselves beneath anybody. So like I said, we were talking to my pastor friend today, and God knows we definitely have a great love for them, and we were never gonna forget them. They're great people of God. And like I say, I just had to share that with y'all. I don't know if I made this video a little bit too long. I think I have. But I apologize. But I had to let y'all know the reason why I do things. Because, see, I know God spared my life. God spared my life for a reason. And the devil tried to take me out for a reason. And I know that too now. I know it now. I didn't know it then. But I will say one thing to everybody. I wish, God knows, I wish that I could take my knowledge that I got now and take it back in time and do it again. I would do some things a whole lot differently, people. And I'm quite sure some of you would too. But at any rate, let us remember, God got us in his hand. And no one can really take us out of his hand. No one can do that. Remember that. And I just want to say, I thank God that he allowed me to stay here. And whatever it is that he's got for me to do is still in the making because I'm still here. So we just want to say to each and every one of you, God bless you. God take care of you is my prayer. And that everyone, matter of fact, be looking for, just bear with old Mitty Man. Just bear with old Mitty Man. Yeah, like the old song said, my old brother Butler used to sing, a few more days. Working down here, my work will be done. But until then, we got a few more rivers to cross. We got a few more mountains to climb. And we asking for your prayers that we will be able to do them. I got some issues that I'm dealing with right now. And I want everybody to pray for me, the man. Pray for me because I just got a feeling that everything going to be all right. So with that being said, I want everybody to take care of yourself until the next video, next Bible study. We had a nice Bible study on Tuesday night. Me and Sister Tina, we was on to someone in the lobby, but that's all right. I told y'all I don't do the video for no shape, form, and fashion, but I do those videos and I do those Bible study for a reason, because I know what I felt in here. God in my spirit, man, told me to do this, and that's how come I'm doing it. And I don't need nobody to try to pep me up to do it. That's what I'm gonna do until He tell me to stop. With that being said, it's Mitty Man saying peace and good morning.